If resilience had a persona, it would be the chairperson and founder of Conscious Companies. She has, over the years, been instrumental in gathering an assembly of leaders that understand how conscious leadership can change the landscape of how business can contribute to humanity through the actions of its leaders. Brenda Kali is no stranger to life's trials. She has faced many, and with each, she has emerged with even greater strength, clarity, and compassion. What makes Brenda extraordinary is not only how she navigates her own challenges, but how she shows up unfailingly for others during theirs. If Brenda holds you in her thoughts, you feel it. If she holds you in her heart, you are never alone. Over the past year, Brenda has been walking a path that would understandably slow or sideline most people, but not Brenda. With her unwavering spirit, she has continued to champion the cause of conscious companies and anchor this summit as a source of energy and purpose, not just for us, but remarkably for herself too. As Brenda often reminds us, the universe moves in mysterious ways. And true to form, she is embracing this chapter with courage and curiosity, trusting that its meaning will unfold in time. Please join me in welcoming a true force of nature, a guiding soul in our midst, Brenda Kali.
Good morning. Those were very kind words from Adam, and I paid him to say that. Thank you for taking the time to be here, for showing up, for being open and willing to embrace and explore and engage with consciousness and leadership. Another year, another theme. Each year, the summit focuses on a theme that reflects the world around us. So to recap, when ESG was the next best thing, in 2023, our theme was Conscience over Compliance, where we raised our voices and asked the question, does it take a box to tick for leaders to do the right thing? Because when a leader is conscious, then ethics, ESG, and doing the right thing becomes part of his DNA and exists under the umbrella of conscious leadership. When we had the elections last year, our theme was truth or dare. We dared both the politicians on the ballot paper and business leaders to tell the truth. We asked the politician, are you there to join a failed and corrupt political establishment in its looting frenzy? Or are you there because you care about this nation's people, winning public trust and making a meaningful difference? We challenged and dared business leaders to look at themselves and experience the truth within themselves, whatever that may be, and reflect on how their actions affect and impact the lives and livelihood of others. This year, our theme, From Chaos to Consciousness, is appropriate, especially around the globe. Chaos is a beautiful word. It is a dizzy dance of disruption. It is disorder. It is an ordeal, but it is not a curse. It is the breakdown of systems, structures, and stories that once made sense. And today we dive into the nature of chaos that ultimately leads to the wisdom if we allow it to. We are living through an age in human history where the world often feels like it's spinning, too loud, too fast, too fragmented, with rapid change and unprecedented complexity, especially in technology. And amid the swirl of opinions, conflicts, fake news, and distractions, the external chaos confronting leaders today is unrelenting and is visible all around us, in our global political systems, in our environment, in our economies, and perhaps most disturbingly, in the erosion of trust in the institutions that once anchored our economy. And even more challenging and equally pervasive and often less discussed is the internal chaos, is the internal conflict that this chaos provokes and the overwhelming sense of disconnection from purpose. The combination of outer disorder and inner unrest is not only fast becoming the central challenge of leadership today, it is also the crucible where leaders are being tested, transformed, and ultimately redefined. You know, you are driven to fix everything out there. You push harder, strategize better, delegate faster. But the secret from external chaos to consciousness is not about fixing the world. It's about discovering who you are as a leader, as a human being. And it is your responsibility to navigate the complexity of chaos without collapsing into confusion. Unless we intentionally anchor ourselves in clarity and emotional resilience, our efforts become reactive rather than responsive. And instead of addressing the causes, we are chasing symptoms down a well-beaten path of reactive leadership, trying to retain control beneath the noise. You know, there comes a time in every life when something shifts. A truth is seen, a realization dawns, and a perception changes. And in that moment, we are forever altered. Those who are with us today, as leaders, as employees, and just human beings, have had some times in their lives been struck by lightning or going to be struck in some way or the other. And I'm not talking about the flash of lightning from a storm. I'm talking about the flash of lightning from life itself. That sudden blast that shatters your very foundation, and you find yourself walking through hell, be it from an unexpected loss, financial or otherwise, including death, divorce, heartbreak, betrayal, retrenchment, an accident, an act of violence, or a terminal illness. If you are lucky, you'll be struck once. But sometimes we are struck again and again, and the storm is endless. You also find yourself floundering internally. And on most days, be it at a personal or professional level, when you are in the throes of turmoil, you just want to disappear. You want it to disappear. And you want to disappear from the ordeal, from the spinning, from the fire, from the fear and the fall, and from the ache in the chest. But despite all of this, if I say that chaos is not the enemy, and it's not here to destroy us, rather see it as a blessing in disguise, a hidden gift of transformation and growth. An ancient Greek poet named Aeschylus once said, "Even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair against our will comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." I guess what I'm trying to say is that chaos is often the birthplace of creation that crafts a space for new possibilities and also creates the opportunity for reinvention and innovation. It's the destroyer and creator aspect of nature. Every major transformation in nature, in society, in spirit, begins with disruption. The caterpillar dissolves into goo before it becomes a butterfly. Forest fires clear old growth to make space for new life, and societies unravel before they awaken. So when we find ourselves in the eye of the storm, we don't ask ourselves, how do I escape this? We should ask ourselves, what is this trying to reveal? Let me share something with you. Some months ago, I found myself at the edge of hell after one of life's unforeseen lightning strikes. I was not only shattered, but scattered in my thoughts, my mind screaming who, why, and what the. I questioned everything, including my belief system, spirituality, creation, the universe, and whatever the great cosmic joke was out there. That was a chaos. and it came with the choice, the power to choose reaction or response. When I finally emerged, I chose once again to be the witness to the chaos and practice what I preach, and that is to just breathe. Eventually, a stillness stirred in my mind, and an undeniable calm embraced me. And here's the insight that came to me through the storm: that no one is special, that no one, no matter who you are, president or pauper, is exempt from life's lightning strike and the human condition. This was sobering, but it further deepened my understanding that consciousness blooms when you simply just let it be. So when you feel like you're split in two, one half healing and the other bleeding, in that moment, even though you know that there is pain and confusion and there is chaos, you can and should be listening to it from presence and an innate wisdom that we cannot unknow what we know and we cannot unsee what we have seen. And consciousness won't fade because we don't want to engage with it. Sometimes the most radical thing we can do is just be still. To stop and be still is not a weakness. It is taking a stand for yourself to say, I will not lose myself in this turbulence and circumstances that I did not create. We don't have to match the madness or control the storm. We can listen, we can watch without reaction, and we can observe without judgment. Let the world do what it does, and let the chaos run its course. We can take one breath at a time, like it's the only thing that matters, because in a way it is. Allow the technique of breath to be your guide to reframe chaos into possibility. It does not mean that we float above the mess, zen out and become untouchable. Rather, it means that we walk through it with our eyes wide open, seeking resolutions with our spirits intact. This is not easy, nor is it a leap. It is a journey, and like all meaningful journeys, it begins with the stillness within. This is a choice, especially for leaders, to return to the epicenter of your being, to align your values with your actions, and to serve something larger than your egos or agendas. It is only here, in the depths of your self-awareness, that you will not only find just direction, but the clarity and the strength to lead from the center. And unless you lead from the center and not from the edge, where anxiety, urgency, and ego resides, you give yourself permission to lead with wisdom, intuition, courage, and compassion, and you will find that others will follow you and do the same. Your calm becomes the anchor for your team. Your courage becomes their inspiration, and your presence becomes their mirror. So today is a calling to evolve, a calling to lead from the epicenter of your being, a calling to lead consciously, not just with your mind, but with your entire spirit and your whole being, not because of the chaos, but in spite of it. Thank you all.